Okay, so I was on your website going through, and I noticed you work in a bunch of other mediums. Do you mind if I pull your Facebook page up?
Sure, go for it.
Cool. All right, so I was kind of geeking out because I was looking at your video of this dude here,
Yeah.
and I noticed that you said that you worked on Blender and ZBrush,
Yes.
and I love Blender, and I'm jealous of people who can work in ZBrush. So, like, tell me what the process is. And you say this one's fully rigged, so can you animate this?
I could, in theory. This was actually for a client who wanted it for a virtual reality chat program.
Really?
Yeah. It was my first time doing something quite this extensive with the 3D modeling to do all the anatomy and everything. I usually use ZBrush for prototyping jewelry and things like that little Anubis pendant you see there on the screen.
This guy here?
Yeah.
So, ZBrush is basically you have a 3D space like you would in Blender, but then you have a tool, and depending on how much pressure you put, how long you like if you're clicking down with your right mouse button, it's the amount of time you're holding down the mouse button is how deep the cut will go or whatever, basically.
So, I'm actually not sure about using a mouse. I do pretty much everything with my touchpad
You do
or
touchpad? Cool.
with a graphics tablet.
Yeah, I want to get a Wacom tablet for work, but I'm so used to a mouse now that it's kind of... So you use your tablet for everything, basically.
Pretty much. I think I use mostly my little touchpad on my laptop for that one, but I do use my graphics tablet quite a bit.
So for your wands you created, which are friggin' dope, this one, I'll turn the audio off on this. How did you make this? Did you carve this out of wood?
Yeah, I actually... You want me to go grab it?
Sure.
So you can actually... Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll edit it out so you disappear and reappear with the wand.
I couldn't actually find the one I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
But I brought a couple of others.
Let me minimize this screen so you go full screen again. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
So show them off.
So, see, not sure how well you'll be able to actually see some of the carving on these.
Oh, really well. Damn. I love how it's articulated, how it's at an angle. It's not just a straight thing. It's like ergonomic for like a someone who'd be using it. Exactly. Yeah, dude. Did you create a prototype first, like a digital one, or did you just start carving?
I actually looked at the wands on Pottermore and got inspired by that.
Heck yes.
And this is another one I made.
Oh, dude.
You can see the little carvings on that.
And how did you get it to look polished like that? Did you finally sand it or use like some kind of liquid afterwards?
It's mostly from sanding, but I tend to finish pretty much all pieces I do with 100% food grade shellac, just a thin layer thinned with mineral spirits.
Cool.
But since I wasn't able to find the other one, I thought I'd bring this over.
Holy crap.
This is a deer antler I carved into a letter opener.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy.
Let's see if you can
Yeah. Oh my god.
see that there's a lion head there.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is amazing.
Thank you.
That is insane. Like, cool. Did you use like a knife? Do you use a Dremel? Like, what do you? It looks more. Oh my god.
This is actually one of my earliest pieces that I started working on carving with antler and stuff.
Do you take commissions for that kind of? Okay, so let's get to the commissions part because I want to ask you something. This interview could go on forever. I'll probably have a part 2. Okay, I'm definitely gonna have a part 2 at some point because this is too. There's so much to cover here. So. I'm always thinking of ways to sell stuff. I haven't always been that way, but like I at one point I was struggling horribly financially, like living less than paycheck to paycheck, right? Like, and that's where I was. But when the 2015 calendar, like I was working 2 jobs just to pay for the artist, right? And I sold out that year, but that was just enough to basically cover the costs.
Right.
And the next year I did a little bit better because it was featured on Comedy Central. But it's really funny because I only sold like 10 that night when I woke up, which is still like $200, but with shipping, and it just like there's so much cost that goes into producing stuff. Anyway, the point is that I'm always trying to think of opportunities like, oh, how can I bring in like passive income or just like actual income? And I've been looking on Etsy a lot, and I think that your hand carved wands, you could do an insane amount of business. Have you thought about? I'm not trying to make you out like oh, everything I need to make I need to sell or do art for the point of selling it, but those are beautiful. You could rake in so much money for those wands, dude. Like if you custom wands for people, are you kidding me? Like I'm a Harry Potter nerd, like I would love to have one of those, especially if they have like an augmented reality game someday where you could actually like based on your hand movements.
Oh, that'd be epic.
Oh my god. I know it'll happen in our lifetime. For sure. But have you ever thought of like selling your stuff, like those wands, because they're like insane?
The other ones you saw on my Facebook page, the like wolf one with the ruby eyes. Yeah, that was a commission.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna share screen again.
Okay.
So I can pull your Facebook page up, so you can see this.
Yep, I can see it.
So like, which one? Let's see. Oh, this one.
Yep.
So this was a commission?
Yes.
Oh, dude. And that's a wand, yeah?
It's a wand. It's made of hornbeam wood by their request, which is actually a really tough wood to carve. And the eyes and the centerpiece that you'll see once it gets turned are actually authentic rubies.
What?
I had them special ordered from a gem carver.
Are you serious? Dude. That's crazy. So is this for LARPing, do you think?
Well,
or just a collector's item?
Probably a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
I saw some pictures of them later doing some cosplay stuff.
Oh my god, that is insane. That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you're doing these commissions. I'm jealous of your skill to be able to translate and work in a 3D space, like in real life.
You're making me blush over here, Kelsey.
Seriously, dude, like, we're our own worst critics, and people tell me that my artwork's amazing, and I think that it sucks. So, like, that is just insanity. This is another video of the same one?
Yeah, that was before I had the shellac put over it to protect it.
Man, I kind of prefer it with this matte finish. Now I'm making you unblush. Like, I'm just kidding. It's still beautiful. Maybe it's because it's, like, what does this say?
I don't actually quite remember. I think it was something like Let Fire Burn or something like that. They kind of wanted to go with this like fire elemental thing with the rubies and everything.
That makes sense. That makes total sense.
Yeah,
so
the
they
camera
requested the wood?
They did.
Interesting.
But yeah, the camera tends to pick up the shine of the shellac and stuff way more than it shows in person.
That makes sense.
So it didn't have quite that eye-bleeding, reflective quality in person stuff in the video.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see it makes it look more refined too when it's like shiny. It adds more like elegance to it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you inset the rubies with like what? Just like a really intense glue or something?
That was part of it. I don't want to give away all my secrets.
Oh yeah, no, don't give away trade secrets. And I know you messaged me earlier telling me that those rubies were fake. So, but I won't. I'll edit that out of the video. I'm just kidding, dude. That's amazing. And then, you don't have a 3D printer at your house, or do you?
Wish.
No, I would be printing so much stuff. This is rad as well.
Thank you.
But
I was really happy with how Shapeways printed that.
I've heard about Shapeways. That's just a website you send off your 3D model to print anything, right?
Pretty much.
And so, back to the wand thing, I think you should have an Etsy store where you just make custom wands and have like a 6-week lead time or something. You would have back orders like up the butt. Like you would easily make 6 figures a year. I would buy a wand from you is what I'm saying. Like you could charge a couple $100 per wand, or more, easily.
Really?
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? Like, there are so many. The people I talk to and, like, engage with on Instagram, like, they would pay hundreds for something like this.
So, I had both of these up on Etsy, and I was asking 40 and 50.
You need to ask double that or triple that. The best advice someone ever gave me was at my last job, my job I'm currently at, my day job. He asked me what my hourly rate was, and I told him what my freelance hourly rate was, and he says, you need to double it. And I'm like, double it? I'm going to lose customers. He's like, no, you need to double it because, number one, you're not going to lose any business. You're going to get more business because people are going to take you more seriously.
Okay.
And it took me a while because I didn't feel that my skill was worth that much, but when I started to tell my current clients, I'm like, hey, in 6 months, I have to double my rate. And they're like, okay. And it was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. But it's true because if I'm spending, 8 to 10 hours at my day job and I come home, like my time at home is my time to relax and recoup. And so if I'm using that time to creating isn't just, it takes time and energy. It's not.
It
just
really does.
It's not just something new. I'm designing something. Like your brain gets tired from doing that much work.
It does. It does.
Anyway, I think that you would do so well and just maybe post those pictures and be like, I would love to do custom wands for you, and you could offer like a 3D rendering proof before you actually start carving, and I mean, you would make an insane killing. Easily.
It would be difficult to do a 3D rendering proof first, because it also depends on what type of wood they want, what quality of wood I end up being able to get. Like sometimes sections are more porous than others, or the grain. So that's actually why I haven't offered that. I've discovered that wood is very picky.
I hadn't even thought about that. That's a really good point. Well, anyway, regardless, I think there's a market for it. I think you do amazingly well because, like, that's not something I see very often. You see, like, wand props that like look like replica Harry Potter wand or replica Deathly Hallows wand or something, right?
And a lot of them are cast resin or something like that.
Exactly, or like really crappy cast resin. But anyway, all I'm saying is your artwork's amazing, and there's a market for it in the world.